let's talk a little bit about what's happening with the folks at Case. And Case has got, as we generally know it, lots of different things. And I'm being accessed here with some different interesting. Well, this isn't a wheel loader. I can tell you that. It's not an excavator.
No.
Rob Marringa, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
Nice
Thanks
to see
for the
you.
time. Yeah,
What have you brought in here today?
well, the idea of bringing a little toy wheel loader in here wasn't quite as entertaining, though I could have made all sorts of noises, engine noises, and things like that. But actually, what I brought in today are components of our new after-treatment system, or I should say the after-treatment system we've been utilizing for wheel loaders, or the SCR, Selective Catalytic Reduction System. So, Tier 4 has been quite a hurdle for the construction
It has been
owners.
for everyone.
Yes, absolutely, beyond the manufacturers, but
so
also the owners.
you're going to be debuting this at the show this
Correct.
year?
Actually, Case Construction unveiled the utilization of this particular technology well over a year ago with the initial launch of the F-Series wheel loaders. But today we are launching the smallest of the F-Series wheel loaders, the 521F. And the subject's still very interesting, and there's still a lot of questions about how things operate. And with Case being the only domestic manufacturer of wheel loaders to use SCR as a single solution, we feel as though we're the most qualified to talk about it.
Some of the show and tell items you brought along with you.
Certainly. I have 3 different elements here, but this is essentially what is comprising of the entire SCR system. There's 3 elements completely. We have the modulation module, or the dosing modulation module, which actually provides or speaks to the engine and understands when it needs a certain amount of the diesel exhaust fluid, and as well 2 other elements. So before I go actually into the pieces, it's good to understand how SCR works. So outside of, or I said rather than CEGR, which is another alternative, we don't, or the SCR system doesn't restrict or recirculate the exhaust. It's simply an after-treatment system that is after the exhaust leaves the manifold. In other words, as the exhaust leaves the manifold, we use diesel exhaust fluid, or DEF, as it's known, injected into the exhaust system, and then that tumbles and goes into a diesel oxidation catalyst chamber, which has some precious metals inside of it and creates a chemical reaction whereby it actually, the exhaust that comes out eliminates all the negative NOx emissions and brings it to certification level. So.
Okay, so this, I take it, is like a pre-burner. This would be a mixer, basically.
Actually, yeah. It's after the exhaust is coming out. The engine tells the module box or I should say, the engine tells this module box and says, "Hey, I'm working this hard. I need this amount of diesel exhaust fluid." The brain box then says, "Okay, well, we're going to take that, pump the fluid through the system, and then deliver it into this dosing or fuel style injector, but it's a DEF injector, into the exhaust system." And what you see in here, I don't know from a view of camera-wise, but
it's a dual plus.
Right. So it has some tumblers or fingers in there. So what ends up happening is the exhaust fluid is dosed into here based upon the task, workload, demand. It then mixes both the exhaust and the diesel exhaust fluid and goes into that chamber I talked about. So there's no restriction on the engine at all, and as a result, we like to say it's very simple, powerful, and efficient. And it is simple because there aren't as many components involved with the system.
Now, because of that less restriction, do you also see it gaining more horsepower as a result?
Right. So, it's, if you think back to the days of when you were when you could modify your vehicle's exhaust. the thing to do to get more horsepower was to get more airflow.
Exactly.
And so removing the manifold or some way of allowing the exhaust to get through faster was how you got the most out of the horsepower.
Right.
And that's the benefit of having an
these
aftermarket.
didn't exist.
Yes, right, yeah, right. That's for sure. Now we're much more complicated than we used to be, but that's the benefit of the SCR system, that it's afterwards, so the engine's able to chug out as much horsepower as it can. We're not forcing or throttling that exhaust and using horsepower to send the exhaust back through the system. So,
well, I take it you've got the new wheel loader here at the show.
we've actually 1121F, which is very appropriate for the aggregate marketplace and for producers involved with the cement ready-mix business and things like that. So they can come down to the booth and take a look at the engine itself, see how wide open, easily serviceable it is, and how the system works, and we can talk about the benefits of SCR.
So for those guys who might be at the show and interested, you're located where?
We're located in the central part of the center.
Central Hall?
Central Hall here, thank you, in the 6,616 level.
Okay. And for those that are not, case.com?
KCE.com. There's a lot more information regarding our Tier 4 initiative, going beyond compliance, as well as interactive elements and an online fluid or fuel efficiency calculator, so they can see how hard they work, how much it's going to cost or how much they're going to save.
Well, everybody has to meet that criteria, so they're all looking.
Certainly.
Okay, Rob. Appreciate you stopping by. Rob Marringa, with a brand manager with the Case and all his fine equipment he brought along, and it's interesting because we can now look better environmentally, can't we? It improves everything as we go along.